I'll call to order the June 17th Corcoran Parks and Trails Commission. Roll call, Erzberger here.
Anderson here.
Schmidt here.
Walsh here.
Nybo here.
Strailer here.
Thank you. Then I'll invite everyone to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we have the agenda approval. Are there any comments or updates to the agenda that we would like to make? I would note the date is listed as June 19th, but we are here on June 17th. So I guess we have both the additional agenda as well as ours that maybe should get updated to the 17th.
Yes, that was the first, and both times were on me. I even reprinted it for you here tonight, and still got the wrong date, so I'm sorry about that. Also, does it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because, oh, what? All right, stellar, it's wrong in a lot of places. So with that, I'd also like to note, we did add 7A from a staff level, if you were all okay with that. Then that'd be my only amendment.
Okay. Motion to approve the agenda?
is modified? Sure. Yes, I moved it.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, approved. So on to meeting minutes. Are there any comments or updates to the May 15th meeting minutes? Okay. Looking for a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I wasn't here.
All right, good.
You were missed.
Approved as written. So then we have, moving on to the open forum, opportunity for public comment.
We have one person in the audience, if you're interested in speaking tonight.
Okay.
Just Jill.
Just chilling.
Okay, sounds good. We'll move on to presentations. No presentations today. And then we move on to item 7, unfinished business. 7A, City Park Playground.
All right, so this was added to your packet this afternoon. We found out last week from the playground vendor that in order to have the playground installed in 2025, we need to make a decision on the playground. We're running into a bit of a hang-up with our DNR outdoor recreation grant that was submitted. The deadline to hear back from the DNR for that is June 30th, which is thankfully at the end of June. So they line up, but it does kind of light a little bit of a fire under us to make sure that we're getting your guys' feedback and incorporating that as we're moving forward. Additionally, we're planning to go to council on Monday with whatever thoughts you have and including that in the packet. So tonight is the night, and I apologize for the rush, but I'm hoping that we can have a really thoughtful discussion. So with the grant, it may require an installation timeline shift depending on what the requirements are. It sounds like it's kind of similar to our federal funds with some of the extra bits that you have to do. But we also already did those bits for the federal funding, and it sounds like they could kind of transfer over for some of the items. So like the archaeological review or things of that nature that are a little more expensive can hopefully be taken and just reapplied, considering it's the same project. If we don't get the grant, the request would then be to just proceed with the design and move forward. With the grant, the reason for the timeline shift, like I said, is those added pieces, but if we can get it in this year, we would like to. If it doesn't make sense to install it because it's going in like late October, then maybe that's a discussion where we go, is it more worth it to wait for install in 26? What do the prices look like? There are a lot of further discussions, but at least if we can get through what do you want the playground to look like? Are there pieces that you don't like? Are there pieces that you do really like? Then we can address those hurdles and bridges as we get there.
So is the assumption we will do the same playground design with or without the grant? It's just
Yes.
a timing impact?
Correct. It would help with the external funding, and then we can keep some of that park dedication for other projects, other areas.
Future
Okay.
pickleball court.
Huh?
Future pickleball courts.
Splash pad and pickleball.
We did hear from council that they do have a very vested interest in the pickleball.
Sure.
Good, good,
And splash pad too.
And
It's
splash
a little
pad.
more
Good.
expensive, so.
Yes.
good.
So, as discussed, so the outdoor rec grant, if it's not awarded, we would move forward with purchasing equipment, installation, surfacing, and it would not exceed $850,000. Now, if we did receive the grant, then, like I said, further discussions would occur about timelines for those. The Playworld quote includes the 5 to 12-year-old container and the 2 to 5-year-old container. The 5 to 12 has the barn and silo attached as one cohesive big unit, the 14-foot twisty slide, the post toppers on the bridges with wheat and corn shown, 2 hillside embankment slides, and then there was supposed to be a 3-point traverse double climber under the bridge. We're working with the playground vendor on that because they show a different kind of netting underneath, which is still cool, and if that's what you would prefer, we can talk about that, but I'd also like to show the other alternative option that we were looking at. In the 2 to 5-year-old container, we've got 2 of those spring loaders, a horse and a cow. They're very cute, very farm themed. We also have some GFRC, which is an acronym for basically concrete, hay bales in the 2 to 5 area. They're just like steps that look more themed to the area, and we can get into that a little bit more. We did remove the zip line as discussed, both by I think Parks and Trails and the council. It was kind of a maintenance nightmare. You guys haven't seen a lot of kids. It doesn't get a lot of use at one time. It's usually just one person going on it, and it doesn't serve a huge group. So this would include equipment, installation, and the engineered wood fiber surface and port in place. And like I said, not anticipated to exceed $850,000. The quote that we received today, for reference, that's why it had to all get turned out this afternoon. We were still waiting to get some of the information. So the quote we received today, we're looking at about $799,000. So just shy of $800,000. That gives a little bit of wiggle room, but also it allows for future project money.
Because we guessed at
850
I was
was,
gonna say,
Not guessed,
we
we
saw last one was
estimate.
at that 850, right?
I think we were looking at trying to, it depends on who we is, the greater we. I get the 2 meetings confused between Parks and Trails and Commission.
It was in the 800s for sure. You're talking about
Yes.
the playground overall.
It was ranging from like 757 to 850, if you recall, because we had,
With the zip line, I think, was a
it was
version
with
that went
the
up
zip
to.
line, reduced swings, but
Taller
then,
buildings.
yeah, there were a few different options with it. So, these are the site plans. These are not as fun, but they do provide a little bit of an overview of what the container looks like for the 5 to 12, as well as the 2 to 4. Like I said, it's not pretty. This is where we get into the pretty pictures, right? So we've got 6 belt swings, an ADA swing, and a top swing. We have quite a few slides. If you notice, so this is that tall slide that we have. There is also one on the other side as well, so there's 2 of them. This is with, like I said, the barn and the silo connected, which was a cost savings as well. We've got the tower slide at 13.75 feet approximately, still higher than Crunch Park. We've got a better view of some of those corn toppers and the wheat toppers. You can see them right in here. And then down here is the little net hangout area, which we will have a better visual of that here in a little bit. We still have both of the bridges with the looping design. These are those concrete hay bales that I'm talking about, so they are shown both in the 2 to 5, or actually they were going to be shown in the 2 to 5, but we could not sub out these yellow blocks that are in front of the tractor for these, so instead these are shown in the 5 to 12.
So, okay, so they're not in the 2 to 5?
They're not in the 2 to
Okay.
5, but this is shown in the 5 to 12. This is one of like the steps to get onto the
I
playground.
think we had concerns in the younger area.
With the
With some-
concrete.
yeah, with the
Mhm,
concrete.
mhm. 2 embankment slides, so this one has, oh, where's my mouse? This green one has kind of those bumpy ridges. The request was textured. It was really roller slide, but we said, ooh, that's gonna be a maintenance nightmare with the wood chips in the rolls. So, these are the 2 embankment slides. This is them kind of from above, what they would look like and how you would kind of enter them.
What's
This
in
is-
between, can you go, sorry, can you go back to
Go
the
ahead.
pictures? Go back one more.
One more.
So between them is just more of the,
Port in place,
Okay.
yeah. So then in the 2 to 5 area, we've got that tractor, we've got the quote-unquote hay bales, if you will. This unity swing, the spring load riders, and then a couple more embankment slides. These are kind of the yellow blocks I was talking about, where we were trying to replace it with the hay bales, but they just don't work, so. That is
I like the yellow.
what it is. And then within the tot area, we've got this walkthrough. They can hang out in these tires on both sides. There's a driving feature. They can climb on these. And as we discussed, the 2 to 5 area, while technically for 2 to 5, is usually seen more with the 1 to 3 category, and they grow out of it very quickly. So that was one of the topics of discussion from before. With the tractor, like I said, we were gonna try and add these. Unfortunately, I got news this afternoon after the slide was already put in here that we can't. So they are being added instead to the 2 to 5 area. And then the hay bale cube climbers were one of the other additions. Getting into some of the nitty gritty though, you've seen a similar slide before with a lot of these bubbles on the right side. These are some of the panels, the graphics, the interactive pieces that are incorporated within the playground itself. And these are some more. And then in the 2 to 5-year-old area, same idea, but these are some of the additional features. So the Unity steppers, a climber. They're a little more toned down, a little safer probably. So, we went through what the quote includes. At this point, staff is requesting that the commission review the current design, provide any feedback related to layout, features, equipment preferences. If there's things that you guys go, no one's gonna play with this, okay, let's look at alternative options. And if it's panels, I did pull up some panels because I know the request was to bring the book. I don't have the book. It's all online now, so we can try and look at a few if that's the option. Otherwise, if the panels that are presented are the ones that you guys like, we can run with that. And I can absolutely go back, and we can go back to some of those panels because I don't think I included it in there. That was when I say I was preparing this slideshow, pretty much until 5 o'clock. Sorry.
we can look live.
We can look live.
That's fine.
Otherwise, a recommendation to council proceeding with the playground with any alterations that you guys would like to see made. This is gonna be one of those recommendation ones, so. I can go back though, if you guys want to dig through some of these a little bit more. Would that be helpful? Or was there anything that stood out to folks, things that you like, things that you don't like?
We
Love
want
it.
to start with the layout, I think, if there's any comments on, I know we had adjusted to this combination with the bridges in between, I think just
And
agreeing
layout,
that that's,
layout's gonna be a little hard to shift too much. I mean, if there's big adjustments, because then we have to shift the container and then that will require side work alterations more than likely, so.
And probably push it out time.
Yes.
okay, well then we're,
I mean, if there's anything
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
serious, now is the
Yeah.
time.
I don't
I
see
mean,
anything.
it fills the space well, and it, I don't know, looks appealing from all angles. I think it's a well thought out layout, so.
and you said there's quite a few slides, but even Wildflower has 3 on the big, and that's quite a bit smaller than this, so it seems reasonable with how many kids hopefully are playing on this at the same time.
Yeah, because what do we got here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm counting 8 minimum in just the 5 to 12. And then I guess 1 in,
Office.
but there are smaller ones within the bigger area as well, if kids do want to. It's nice because this almost provides a phased approach for like growth. They can go 2 to 5, and then they can go into more of the barn side of things. And that would be a little smaller, and then they even grow into like the silo. Like they're growing in our little farm playground.
The only thing I noticed, and maybe it's just missing, there's not a lot of seating for like adult. I know we're putting benches around this, but even in their shot, they had a guy just sitting at the top of the hill.
So
So-
potentially seeing if.
I just would want to make sure there's enough seating around this with our bench plan. Or if there's, if we are, yeah. There was one thing that to me looks like we should make sure we're considering is seating.
And the playground vendors might not necessarily show what we have planned, but that's a good point, and I can check with Kathy.
But even that spot that they had the guy sitting looks like a good spot. If we're gonna want to sit there, does it make sense to put something intentional there? Because at one point we had like stones
Yeah,
that you could sit
like
on.
tiered.
Like a retaining
Yeah,
wall
like a
playground.
natural thing to sit on, but we don't really have that anymore.
Could you plop a hay bale there?
Sure, yeah, I think
You're right.
yeah. Or just a few of them, just for like.
Just kind of sporadically.
I will say benches might be cheaper.
Oh, really?
Concrete's expensive.
Yeah, the hay bales are about $9,000, I think.
I think there is benches on the right on the other side of the trail, like under the trees, but.
Well, I'll definitely bring that up, just like this seating in general, making sure that we're accommodating parents.
Mm-hmm.
Seating and shading are top priorities, post wildflower installation.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say there was a better picture that showed that netting thing in between those two bridges?
Yes.
Um, oh, towards the end, okay.
I think that's not the right,
But that's
in the
not,
deck, it's not the right feature.
Give me 1 second.
oh, okay, it's just that.
It is.
I can show you the one
Yeah.
that we were looking at
It's in the
including.
back. But,
That was a
I was-
request from specific donors, correct?
Mhm.
yeah, and I was more just wondering, now I can see it in this image, I thought it might go, it was like a netting up to the edge of the, where those
That was more so
bars
the
are, but
vision.
I can see now it's, like, yeah, that people could climb down to it from the,
That was the vision, and I don't know where it got lost in translation, so we're working through that. We
Okay.
just haven't had a response yet. I'm trying to, my internet's going real slow to pull up this.
yeah, I can see that from here though.
Like just a net climber or something?
Yeah, I thought it kind of would go up to the edge of this,
Mhm.
so that and it would be like a whole thing to climb, yeah, versus just sitting. Yeah, that was, those were always a fan favorite, the big pyramid rope net things, so there's one, Maple Grove, a couple of them.
My internet is telling me it's broken, so give me just a second.
I think, yeah, I mean, I think we're good with that.
I think it's good to look at this. This one, I'm a little worried that kids would like try to jump into it if it's something like this, like.
Yeah, from either that edge or
The angle
from.
it's at?
Yeah.
You're kind of,
Mhm.
but is there a place to jump from?
Yeah, the railing.
There's a lot
Well-
of.
I
Very
will
nice.
say, I did go to French Park the other day, and I saw kids climbing on the top of the structure.
Mm-hmm.
Happens
with
at
their
our
parents?
park.
That's called parental guidance.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but this is like a 40-foot high structure.
Yeah, that's different.
Are there
It
going to
was
be
the very top.
placards or
It's called
signs that
parental guidance.
regarding that? I mean, just as out of a, like from a liability standpoint.
Play at your own risk. type
There's
thing?
these big
Yeah.
yellow circles like on the slide in these pictures. I think that's as
Yes.
extensive as
Oh.
it goes.
On the big slides, yes.
Yeah. That's
I-
usually how they get up there. That thing.
I would love to show you guys this, but that, well, no, that's the one that they showed. We have a different one that we're trying to use, but.
Oh, okay, you,
Can you describe it? Like, where would you, what are you trying to get them to do?
All right,
There's a whiteboard in here?
so.
do you wanna try my computer?
I want to look at it.
Would it be-
Okay, let's play. Jessica's gonna describe this for you. So,
He did it.
under here, it was
Keep going.
it was connected on either sides of the poles, like on both bridges,
Okay.
underneath, and it's kind of like a twisty net. So one side goes one way, and then the other side goes the other, and kids can climb all over it. And the idea was that they'd be able to get onto the bridge and down to the ground from the bridge, both bridges. So we are working with them on that.
So like this, like where the netting would continue up to connect to there, and
Kind of, but then it's got like two kind of twisty ones
Yeah,
that
I
look
can't-
like this. I realize this is a really good description.
No, that makes,
Especially the twisty part.
And why would they climb on that?
Huh?
I says, and why would they climb on that? Somebody explained to me with children.
it sounds like we would
Kids
take
love
out,
nets.
you
Yeah.
take out the railing, right? In the middle?
Part of the railing,
You take
yes.
up one
Oh,
of
the
the
railing,
of the
okay,
railing.
so they
So
are
you
going
go-
up.
it's
Yes,
Okay, all
yes,
right,
then it
okay.
would be intentional.
All right, that was,
Yeah.
okay,
Versus climbing.
makes
over.
sense now.
Not over the railing.
That's what I thought, I was
Yeah,
like,
guided
Climb
way
over
of
the
using
railing.
it.
where are we
That's
going
really
with
for us
this?
to climb on.
Yeah.
Okay, so there will be a gap.
That would make that middle section like, I see, it'd be nice to have something there that they can.
Do you like this option? Isn't that, no? Too lame? A little boring?
With the net underneath? I just kind of fail to see what anybody would do with it, but
And I,
then I'm not.
We're
Do you
old.
like the
I
could
idea of
I'm
a
we're
net?
too old.
The
It's
net,
not this net.
yeah, I like what you're saying.
I think
I feel like this
A
in
hammock.
picture would entice people to jump over the railing onto that net, right?
it seems
Stage
unlikely.
It's more of a
but-
landing
Stage
zone.
dive kind of thing, yeah.
Okay,
It encourages it to climb instead of jump.
but we like nets, just not this net. If it allows to climb up to the
Yes.
bridge,
That'd be best.
So we don't have any other nets either, it's just.
it shouldn't be a big gap, I wouldn't think.
Jessica, do your pictures work up there? I think those worked, right?
what?
These pictures?
Yes.
Can you shoot, the one after where the guy's sitting up here where we need a bench?
Mine are not necessarily.
Yep, okay, keep going. Keep going. It's kind of with the net and all that kind of stuff.
Maybe back.
There, go
This one?
back. How high up is that? I mean, that's, right? That's pretty high up. Should that railing not go all the way across? I mean, is the kid not gonna go shimmy through there and,
To be fair, there's openings in a lot of places where they would climb down anyways. So as long as there's a feature there to help support them and get down, I wouldn't leave an opening just with like the netting that's shown tonight, because that would be encouraging them to jump.
right?
And it's not
but-
a vertical, it's like a
Yeah,
slant,
slant.
right?
You're saying
Right,
this though, this.
Right, this would
Okay.
Yeah,
attract
those
you to
two-
climb down.
Fences right there, or whatever, that, it is.
Are you talking these two?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, those would remain.
yeah, but
But she's saying the gap.
how,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
how steep is it going down
Children.
there?
This part
Escaping.
specifically?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
that is
I
a
mean,
drop
we can
off.
look into it. I would assume, the playground vendor was the
I
one
mean,
who put it together,
if
so.
it's there with the bar, yes, they can still go over and stuff, but a 2-year-old might not walk right through.
That's,
I don't know.
that's down to the slope, that's the same slope as, roughly as the slide.
Yeah,
Excepting
the
it's a
embankment
poured in
slides?
place, you're not gonna slide,
right.
yeah,
But how high is it?
Like
here's a
starts
better view
almost
of
at the
that.
edge of the board place.
yeah. Oh.
Somehow it could go, and it's in between there, so they could go on.
But it does slant down, kind of like right here.
You know, but they will,
Slide down?
Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah.
or maybe they, if you don't want them going through, they would need regular fences, like this, like the bridge. Something.
I mean, it's closed and it meets the safety standards. So
This
it-
one might be, this is a pretty good view, I think, of the embankment. Looking at it from a different angle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's some slope to it.
Yeah, if they walk up, boom, you know.
Yeah, they'll be walking both up and
And then
down.
they would do the same thing, or be able to right outside of this
So they'll
too.
roll down.
But the
Yeah.
net, but the net
that
itself
what kids
won't
do?
go all the
Roll
way
down
to
things?
that edge, right?
Throw stuff on.
So I mean, I know the Elm Creek Park has angles like
Yeah.
about that steep and
Okay.
it's, because it's, is it that rubbery material?
Horton Place, yep.
Yeah, so
Angles and some traction.
it's somewhat forgiving, at least when I fell on
Practice fall.
it. Yeah.
You were testing
You were
it for
testing it.
future.
It was for this very moment, yes. No, but-
Can I ask a quick question?
If you go up to the, oh man, we don't even have the dies in here.
It's tucked over there.
Well, it's not on.
I can turn it on.
It doesn't have batteries.
It doesn't have batteries.
I say survival of the fittest.
I mean, it probably has batteries, but I was told that anytime it's on once, it dies.
I was gonna say, on the
That's what our
videos, you
kids
really
did.
can't hear that much very well.
Probably because it's never on.
Testing test.
Oh!
Oh,
New batteries.
Please state your name and address.
I will. Catherine Drivas, 6747 Old Sturbridge Drive in Corcoran. I have a question about the silo. Is the slide entrance from the silo as high as you can get inside that silo?
Or can they climb higher?
Or can they climb higher
I see what you're saying.
within the silo?
That is.
good question.
And my only concern with that is that is a big blank hidey hole for kids to push and shove and bully up there, where you don't have any line of sight. You know, those windows provide something, but if you can climb higher within the silo, then I'd be kind of concerned that you can't see what's really going on up there. And then the other thing I was gonna say about kids getting on top of equipment, the way they're gonna try and get on top is to go outside that tunnel slide, you know, climb up on top of that tunnel slide. But if they can't, if there's no good way to get up to the top of the silo from the outside, they won't be able to get there.
I don't think they'll be able to get there.
So I don't think from the way it looks,
Unless they
but
bring their own climbing equipment.
that was my.
Which they
that's-
might.
I mean, transparently, I think they're gonna find a way either way.
Uh-huh.
And they did put,
I think it'll be harder to do at this one than it will be.
yes, like they put this on there and you, oh, just kidding.
Oh.
How about now?
That yellow
This-
disc.
Yeah, that disc. I think the intention of that is supposed to stop kids from climbing.
On top of.
How many
Yep.
kids do you know that will climb right over that thing?
Grease it up.
So,
But
Shocker.
you see what my concern
Stainless
is, if they can
steel.
get all the way to the top of the
Like
inside of the
our
silo, you don't have any way to see from the outside in there.
Mhm.
and I think that's a double-edged sword, really, like, sometimes kids want the little area to like go and hang out, and you're gonna have parents who feel both sides of it, so it's ultimately up to what you guys feel is best. I don't
Just
know.
speaking from experience of like, 20-some years of
Right.
playground supervision.
No, that's, I mean, I think it's a good point of not being able to find your kid. If you're,
Yeah.
where's my kid, and if they're up there, it's a little harder for a parent to get all the way up
Right.
there. So it's a good point. Just,
Thank you.
adding
Thank you.
adding a window or two up there
A window?
would
If you can get up there.
help that. Yeah, oh, yeah, that's,
Yeah, if
If
there's
you can't
climbability.
get up in there,
yeah,
then
then it's,
it's
Yeah, if they're just straight walls. And empty space.
up in there.
I don't think
it's just a big open space.
easily.
It depends if there's another platform level or not, that's the question.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
if
think,
there is another platform level, is this an open one?
And if there is, that sounds really warm anyways.
I don't.
That needs ventilation.
I doubt there's.
I will talk,
Just see if what's in there.
yes, If you can go higher, it sounds like maybe window.
Yeah, at least.
As long as it's not, yeah.
I mean, it is tough to tell from the images how exactly one enters that to begin with.
I think there's a ladder underneath, but.
So you can go in a few different ways. You can go up through here and it kind of goes up. You can go in from the bridges and then you go up.
I guess the going up part, is it
Yeah.
a ladder? Is it stairs
There's-
inside?
I want a better one of in.
Well, if it was a real silo, we'd have a flip and then we could hang a chain on it and you can just elevate yourself down like the real farmers do.
Can we fill it with grain?
And we can't teach our farmers around here not to do that.
There must be a ladder on the inside, looks like.
It's gotta be.
I think I want to say,
I don't think there's stairs.
no, it almost,
We have to go back to our probably other presentation.
I mean, it looks like it's a ladder inside, but it's just a little tough to tell.
I wish I could zoom in.
Well, and this is just a sketch too. We need to look at the technical drawing.
This is, I mean, we have the technical drawings too.
But it would show it. Should.
Well, we have the over, like,
It's just the top. It's
Top.
from the
Sure.
top. So it's like,
Uh-huh.
can we get the technicals from a side view? That, I think, is what
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask for. Okay, so here's what I've got so far. The bridge netting thing, we wanna upgrade that to something better than what's shown here. The gap between the bars for the bridges, here, I'm just gonna start pulling up pictures so that I can actually reference these. Looking at the gap that is right here and seeing if we can find an alternative to
I think
that.
there's gaps on the end too at one of the, they look pretty big to me.
Where?
On each side of the railing.
Oh,
It might have, maybe my picture's better.
like in, right in here.
Between like the other railing and the,
Oh, sorry, I keep realizing my mouse is not on the right screen for you guys,
Yeah.
right here.
like they looked like there was kind of pretty big gaps there too.
Okay, so, yeah,
But, you know, and maybe they know with the slope and the safety that it's all good.
and
You
so
know.
this being presented, it meets the safety standards for fall
Mhm.
zones and everything.
Mhm.
So, the playground vendor has deemed it non-concerning, but if you guys are concerned by it, then we can address it.
Mhm. We can ask, I guess.
And the gap is there, but there's also just a 2-bar railing.
Yeah, they
You know,
can
it's
get.
just-
Yeah, so it's not really.
Right.
It's not really gonna hold
No, but you
anybody
got a
down.
little kid running,
I
the
see.
bar would stop them,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where the gap probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I'd say we just.
Cause some of them are like
Across
little
or even
steep
put a
eaves,
net.
man.
That might be more of an eyesore is kind of what I'm trying to avoid.
What's that?
Just do
The-
one
Or maintenance.
crossbar across it.
And that's what I think I'm gonna look into, but I just don't have the answers.
Or
I
make it a
heard, what?
So are you making a net or something that is usable rather than a cliff? But yeah. Don't, you,
Well, I think that was part of the issue.
I think-
They couldn't connect the net to there
mm,
because that would be an issue,
Mhm.
whereas if it was lower,
I see.
yeah. So I'll work with them on a better net option and fixing the gaps. Looking at the silo, figuring out how are kids getting up there? Can they get up to the top? And if they can we add some windows, something so that parents can see their kids and no one's fighting in the top of the silo. Anything else I'm missing?
This might be what's the floor of that silo made out of? Do you know? Is it solid? Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking, is it gonna hold water if it rains?
No, because it should have drainage holes to go through, just like
Okay.
most would, yeah.
There we go, okay.
Yeah, no, we're just gonna make a makeshift pool.
Well,
That's the splash.
There's the splash
you
pad.
got it.
It's just on rainy days.
It's a twofer.
On that same one we were looking at, and, this one. This one, sweetheart.
This one?
And maybe it's just the, keep going on more slide, there, back, that one. It might be just me, but I think those two slides are kind of a funny color. The,
The
the,
taupe ones?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
wouldn't yellow or something fit better?
A little brighter or something, yeah.
I don't know, it's just me. They
Is
just
there a
seem kind,
consensus?
they just seem kind of,
Colors are an easy shift.
that's what I figured.
Are we looking then?
The dark green
The-
from that.
You got
on
colors
those
here on the bottom.
I think not adding another color, I would pick something.
That already exists,
That already
right?
exists,
Like
like, yeah.
that hunter green or that dark
Yeah.
green on the right?
Mhm.
Put those on
Yeah.
the,
Or, yeah, and I wouldn't have a problem, well, I just said yellow just because I didn't see the color key there, to tell you the truth.
Like this
But-
color
But,
instead?
even adding, say they were yellow, you know, kids are going, well, I'm gonna go down the green slide, I'm gonna go down the yellow slide, you know how kids are.
no, they're not saying I'm gonna go back down the beige slide or the brownstone.
Well, yeah, we haven't gotten that far yet,
Yeah.
right? That-
Well, which
So-
yellow, the tropical
but
yellow
no.
or the other yellow?
In the same regard though, then if we change it to green, we're gonna have all green slides.
Yeah.
And which
Right.
green slide are they going down?
Right, and that's
So
why I just
yellow.
said
Yeah.
yellow out of the blue when I saw, that is another color. No,
Yellow would be good.
just, yeah, that's just, I
It
think-
does look like there's a couple of yellow options down here. I mean, if yellow is the option, then
yeah. I
There's
mean,
one
there's
down
yellow
here.
in the corn over on the end, and there's kind of yellow with,
All the railings are yellow.
Yeah.
and in, you know,
There's blue on the roof.
there you go.
This is,
I think that's metal. When I
Is it?
asked them, that's what, it wasn't.
Like a silver color?
Yeah.
Oh, like sheet metal?
No, on the little structure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Right, this one?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm talking about.
So,
Yeah, because I thought it was blue as well, and I went, why is there just one blue piece? That looks funny.
That's the
yeah, they
sky.
must have them blue.
Fun eye.
It's not mine. It's a tropical yellow, sure. I think you made it up.
Tropical yellow we're liking? Regular yellow?
Well, whatever, yeah, whatever goes with, I mean,
Can-
you know, the hay bales are kind of yellow, the railing's yellow over here. There's a kind of a yellow ladder there.
Are the railings yellow, like that same yellow?
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
make
They are
it
It's the
close.
same as what's
they're,
Close to
they're
that.
yellow here.
They're beige.
Those are big.
So if you look in the bottom right corner of the pictures, a lot of them will have like post-in component, rotomold plastic, two-color plastic. So they have other options than just those. Those are just the ones that we're utilizing.
I think
So you're
it's,
telling me those railings on there are?
They're that beige.
I
The
think it's
beige,
hard to
that's,
tell from the printed.
it's a beige yellow.
Beige, yeah.
There.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to tell from printed what that color will be.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah, maybe the slides do match and we just aren't seeing it. I don't know. Yeah, man,
Like your printer can print different, like I think it's hard to.
We could ask them to provide some like real world pictures of other.
something out there.
We could, but
Do
we
we
also
have
need
time?
to make a decision by end of the month. So in order to get the color samples back, get it out to the commission, get a consensus,
Yeah.
we'd be looking at.
Well, how about this? And this is just throwing something out there. Pick a backup color, and then that the commission likes. If these come out that they're not like this, they're actually a color that looks a little more appealing, and it's just the picture is not showing up well, we'll change it to the backup color.
Do they look different on the screen than they do on your pictures?
I don't see that color in one of the options.
What color?
This
Whatever
current
color
slide.
those
Is that
lines are.
brownstone or is that
That's
tropical?
It's
It is,
brownstone.
okay.
Then
Yeah.
yes, it does, I don't know.
Personally, I
Looks
like,
quite
I like
different.
yellow.
What's the tropical yellow? Where's that in this?
We don't know if we have any.
They might be those, see the panels under the silo? There might be
sure.
like, there's like
I
multicolored
think the
panels.
tropical yellow might actually be like this. Oh, sorry, still on the wrong screen. Like this one.
Like a little
Gotcha.
bit, yeah.
Because, well, in the big kid picture, whatever, these railings in here look yellow.
They are beige, and the only reason I know that
Yeah.
is because it's gonna be one of the posting components, and
Right.
I can see on my screen that the colors are matching the colors on the bottom.
Oh, are they?
Mhm. Yeah, so what I'm seeing on my screen is what's showing up there, and I think those colors are more accurate than what is being presented.
On the big thing?
Oh, wow, yeah, yours is way different.
Beige, a little bit.
So like that brown slide, that's the same color as the one that was
And is it
connected.
brown?
Yes. It's like a tan, it's pretty much beige.
Yeah,
It is brownstone.
Brownstone.
Okay.
it's very different on hers.
Better?
Does it look
This
nice?
is
In a
how it
better, in a
looks
better
on
way?
mine.
Yes.
How
Yeah.
it looks on here is how it looks on mine.
Oh.
Like on the TV is how it looks on the screen.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, the printer, to be fair, we did run out of yellow toner as I was printing these two.
That, now she says it after all the conversation. Okay.
If they would, I mean, they probably have recommendations for what would fit. I'm fine with that current one, or I guess yellow's fine too. It would probably be too much green if you go dark green. That's like.
I would agree. But I think yellow, tan, either one
And also darker colors.
will get hot.
Hotter, yeah.
But
I mean,
it's
it does match one of the embankment slides. It does pull in more color from throughout the rest of the playground.
Yeah, I think it should be different then. I just
So
thought
brown?
This was yellow.
Or yellow.
Oh, sure.
yes.
Well,
Okay.
you can ask them.
Because they're right next to each other?
Maybe we just change one color.
I think it's because
Actually,
they're
I
too
think
much.
that would look more.
Too much.
Yeah,
Just have them random.
but like, doesn't this green side look like it has yellow on it? This yellow stripe?
It looks tan.
It looks like it has yellow on it.
Thank you.
But I don't know if it actually does have yellow.
Well,
Right here?
yeah,
I want to get tanner shade on mine.
you know, that's
Not
funny
yellow,
because
Not,
It's more yellow.
when you look at,
yeah.
I'm not sure, oh, you know what? That's probably the other side
It's
of
more
it.
the color,
Because there's a second
of, like,
slide
the
that comes
bars.
down, because I'm looking at this
Yeah.
one that
but I
doesn't
don't know if
have it.
that's the sun now.
It sounds like most people are okay with the yellow. Like,
Yellow or tropical yellow?
uh,
Yellow.
Matt, whatever.
I think good old yellow.
Yellow.
Good old yellow?
It'll fade.
Brownstone slides. Yellow.
Give it 10 years.
Well, then wouldn't you want to start with the
Tropical? maybe?
tropical yellow?
So don't look faded?
So
Then
it fades to
the
yellow?
regular yellow? Okay, so what I've gotten, we want seating near the playground, which I forgot to mention in the first go through. Netting under the bridges, trade it out. Bridge gap, fix those. Blind spots in the silo, figure that out, open it up a little bit.
Only if there's a second level.
Only if there's a second level, right. Otherwise, it's windows to nothing. And then the brownstone slides are turning into yellow slides.
It's good.
And can we
Would
look-
that switch the one that's coming down the hill too then? Correct? I think.
Would you like it to?
Fine.
This one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, okay, that's my opinion, sorry.
Yeah. I
Okay, we can agree with
I
you
agree.
this time.
This time.
Can we look at the panels, or are we not able to?
We can look at the panels. Are there certain ones that you want to trade out?
We just haven't seen them all. So we can just sit here for a second. Are these the ones that are currently on there somewhere?
Like all of them.
Okay.
Are those activity panels? There's things to do on them?
For the most part, so this one's got like moving pieces where you can kind of solve a puzzle.
Okay,
These are just custom panels that fit the theme.
yeah.
Steering wheel panels,
Okay.
spots for children to sit. This one I had to look into. You look through it and it's transparent, but it changes the colors of things. So even if they don't like the yellow slide, they can choose a different color. Balcony with telescope, inclined cliffhanger, which is basically just rock climbing. The tower climber, they're the spinny ones that kids can sometimes go down. This musical one. Another twisted climber, which actually I think got removed with the net. And then a hypnotized panel where you spin it and then it moves.
A must.
And then a bells, you hit them and it makes noise. We've got a bridge, some slides, I'm not sure what this one is, a bell puzzle panel. Another climber, your ADA bucket seat. Sorry, I have bars in the way of mine. A prism pass. That one I'm also not entirely sure on. The Babel talk on tube, so you can talk to other people. Those get a lot of
Those are the
usage.
best.
Yeah.
Even I think those are pretty cool
Yeah.
as an adult. More sound making panels. Kids seem to like the things that make the noise. And then a ball maze, so it can kind of navigate through the maze. And then I'll just describe the last set that are in the 2 to 5, and then we can go through any ones that you guys are thinking you want to chat through. So we've got the climbing squares. Like I said, those could not be transferred out for the concrete, which is fine anyways. Tunnels, again, steering wheel panel, tube slide, your spring riders, silo climbers, some stepping stones, so those are located to get onto the tractor. The Unity swing, and then the quote-unquote hay bales. Do we want to start with the 2 to 5 since it's a little smaller? How do we feel about these?
I think they're great.
Yeah.
It makes sense for the 2 to 5 in my opinion.
I like the steering wheel inside the tractor.
And so where it says 2, I want to say 1 is in the tractor and then 1 is in the main structure as well.
Keep the manual shifter alive.
Mm-hmm.
Where are those
Teach me
stepping
on.
stones that look like ladybugs to me?
They are
And
located
don't they say lady
right
slippers?
here.
Oh, like,
Unity
Yeah, they're Unity steppers. So they can be used to step onto.
I just didn't see them in the picture, that's all. But maybe,
You can kind of see it
Oh, they're yellow. Well, I don't know.
just barely right here.
Right there, yeah.
okay.
Maybe they're yellow.
Good with yellow? Do we want a different color?
Not ladybug.
No, that's fine. See them.
All right, so then back to some of these. I'm assuming we're keeping the bridge, the slides. Do we bell puzzle panel?
If it's what I think it is, I think, like where slide puzzle pieces are on.
We don't know the alternatives to tell you yes or no.
That's
Yeah,
the
that's
other
what-
part.
yeah.
And now I have good news.
Because they don't, I like all of them. They listed,
Yeah.
it wasn't like one's bad.
The musical ones are the best. Like up at the,
Get your kids to musicals.
yeah, oh yeah, like at that Maple Grove, right by the library there. There's a lot of xylophones and stuff. My kids just love banging on those things.
I need like a cowbell, like
Yeah.
Need more
Yeah.
cowbell.
a triangle,
Cowbell.
like
Yeah,
farm.
well,
Yeah,
especially,
that's a good idea.
especially, right?
Oh, yeah, here's, looks like
Oh,
it's netting.
this just in.
That's
That under there,
Sure.
yes.
that is the item. A little less,
That's cool.
a little more exciting.
Yeah, less of a hammock, more of a climbing wall.
Yes. And then as far as panels go, so this is that rainbow one that I had talked about. Oh, good. Okay. These are some shifting sands options.
It's like one at Wildflower like that.
Sorry, these might each need to load. This one you can like move around.
Is that in the little kids area? That one?
I don't think this one was included, no.
Okay.
Accounting one.
Abacus.
Oh, and I just.
Control Z.
Shift T.
Mm-hmm. Accounting 101.
This one's just the sensory. You basically just touch it. There's different textures to it. Shifting sands again. A construction insert. Not really the farm theme, but it's got trucks and stuff.
Pretty good.
Again, there's that steering wheel.
We'll have 3 of those?
2.
Well, they had 2 in the little kids area, 1 in the.
I think they were
Find a
just
way
saying
home.
as a
That's
whole.
Oh, okay.
Little maze.
Um,
That's cool.
A little maze. This one seemed to fit the theme better than some of the other ones. A nature hunt. A whimsy wheel. Some shapes and colors and numbers. I don't love this idea it encourages people to draw on the playground equipment, but I'm also not gonna keep things from
I
you.
was thinking about that too, but yeah,
Yeah,
you're
no.
probably right, especially given what happened at well.
Yes, I recently took some vandalism off the park, so magic eraser does wonders. Those are the better of the options that I found in my digging. So if there are any of those that really you're passionate about,
I like that maze panel.
I did too. Yeah, back it up just one, or go through it one more
This
time.
one?
That one, yeah.
It doesn't have to be slow, but yeah, I like that.
do you want me to go through each? So you already have this one, so I'm gonna X out of this. Yay or nay?
It doesn't look like it does a whole
Does that
lot.
middle part spin?
It looks like there's ball
Yes.
bearings in it, it'll probably fall. like-
Sure. I like it.
We'll keep it for now on options in case you guys wanna. I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna trade stuff out, do we wanna narrow down what we would
Sure.
trade it out for?
Right.
This one?
I don't mind this one for like the little bit area, but the colors are off. I don't-
Keeping in mind, we already, I mean, this is if you want to replace the things. I mean, if you're
Okay.
good with
What we
the
have,
That's fine, no.
steering wheel that's in
Yeah,
there.
I'd rather do the steering wheel.
Okay. But we don't love it for 5 to 12, or we do?
Mm.
No? Okay, everyone
Not necessary.
gave up, look, so. Counting,
You go park count.
do that.
You don't come, you don't go to the, yeah, kids ready for college or.
I'm getting the consensus of no,
Oh.
with the exception of
No
one who
need.
seemed moderately interested. Tactile,
I like that.
we like tactile? Shifting sands again?
That's the same.
Yeah, I'm just gonna X out of this. Construction? It's not totally in the
kinda
same
cool.
vibe, but
I will
Looks like
say
you moved the
there's,
marbles.
I don't know
there's
quite what it does.
all of the 2 to 6-year-old boys in the neighborhood love trucks and anything to do with construction. I mean, so I'm partial to that.
This one looks like you moved something around inside it, like you moved the ball bearings from one
maneuver
truck to
metal
another.
balls into dump
It looks-
trucks,
that looks
diggers,
in-
Oh,
and
that's
dozers.
cool. Kinda cool.
Okay, so we like that one.
Is there other different colors on the bottom, it looks like?
Yes.
You've got those three?
I would think that-
Well, and I don't think it's limited to those
Oh.
colors.
There you go.
Well,
The,
the red.
the yellow and red's an improvement.
Yeah.
The yellow and red is approved?
Yeah.
Or match if it's like
It-
green and yellow, whatever. I like that one, but I don't know what I would replace.
Where's my mouse? We already have that. We liked the maze.
Mhm.
Nature hunt. I struggle with this one because I don't think you're gonna be finding a bear paw or maybe even a turtle.
It's not quite right for
It's off theme.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yes or no to the nature hunt? Whimsy wheel?
2 to 5.
What does that do?
I think they just move.
It's whimsy and wheel.
It's just whimsical.
Yeah.
Spinning wheels and sliding knobs.
Ah,
Yeah.
well, it's pretty,
I think we have some stuff.
There's enough
Yeah.
of that.
unless it makes really great noise.
I'm hearing no.
Lame.
Slide and learn? I'm not hearing a lot of passion.
It's
Okay.
kinda cool.
I don't get it.
Match the color. I think you,
It promotes
match-
color, number, and shape recognition.
yeah.
You fight over.
It's better than accounting, but,
Yeah,
but,
not much.
Maybe.
It's cuter,
So,
it's cuter.
let's see, let's go back to then, what are you looking to possibly,
replace. How many did we
Replace.
look at there? 3 that we
I think
kinda
we
said
had-
yes to?
3 or 4 that you would consider?
Maybe the hypnotic
Yeah.
wheel,
The which one?
The hypnotizing one?
bottom right.
Bottom,
Okay.
bottom, pale yellow.
We don't know what it does.
It's just a.
Oh, that's the
just like
spinning
that,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
You get
Spiral.
hypnotized by it. You're not gonna play with it.
Okay, so that one, we like the musical panel, the rainbow panel, the slide solve. Bell puzzle panel.
Oh, we already have that ball maze rotating thing in the bottom left.
Which one?
One of the things we picked was the bottom left one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's-
I mean,
Sand thing.
the bell, personally, I think the bell puzzle would be one you could replace with the, construction.
Which one's the bell puzzle, the next one
Third
over?
one over,
Third one.
up on the top.
Oh, up there.
Yeah.
So we want to replace the hypnotize one and the bell puzzle panel. And let me get out of this again. It sounds like the construction insert was the big one,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
this one,
Mhm.
find the way home. All right. What else do you have for me as far as the playground is concerned?
Question on where those speaker tubes are located.
We got two?
No, the ones where they talk.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think they
Oh,
put,
that-
I
okay.
don't see any, yeah, I don't know if they put those in, unless they're underneath.
What's it called? The actual,
Bubble talk tube, I think is what it is.
I see something babble on.
There you
Well,
go.
that-
That's the other thing, I think.
Mm,
The Babel one was the one with the two that could talk together.
that's what,
Is that the
Oh,
one?
yeah,
That's
sorry,
what
that's
I
what,
was
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I'm
I
sorry.
thought there was a,
Oh,
I thought you were talking about the one with the bells on the pole.
oh, no.
Oh, no, yeah, the
Oh.
ones that you're
Speaking
talking to.
So the babble on, there's one, like if you're looking at
Oh, yeah.
the two, like bridges and the netting in between, on the right-hand side of the right
Oh,
here.
sure, okay, thank you.
top, and then the other end is,
In between the two slides, or that, which two slides?
Oh,
Yeah.
yep,
Right
okay.
here.
Between, I see that.
and then top left
And
of
then
your
top
picture.
left, oh, scroll, there you go.
Very, very top left of your view. There's the-
Oh, I see the other one, right here.
Yeah,
Here
okay,
and down here.
that's cool. Do you have a preference?
which is pretty cool, but you can't really see it directly on the site, too easy.
No.
Mayor McKee is going to be at this playground daily,
Mm-hmm.
and not because of his son.
Once we get the pickleball courts, I might.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll be here with Logan as soon as I can stop watching Frozen everything.
All right.
Was there anything on the 2 to 5, like playground that we didn't really, or we were all good with that? Oh, no, we did kind of go through that, the hay bales and the, yeah.
It doesn't say so, but there is the steering wheel somewhere in there.
Yes, you can kind of see it.
On the,
One of these tractor type thing.
Tractor, yeah.
Where you'd expect it to be. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, there's, okay.
hopefully.
This one
You
shows.
can see it right
Yeah,
here.
there's two of them.
Actually,
Oh, are there two of them, or is that just?
maybe there are. Hang on. See, I'm more of a paper person.
there's a window, two window walls. Maybe there's not a steering wheel in there. I don't know where you would put it though.
It does not say it on here. I wonder if it's built into the tractor structure, and that's why?
Is there one in the
Because it
cab?
is a custom tractor.
Is there one in the cab? Is that what it was?
I think so, but I can double check that.
I don't know that we necessarily need two in the other structure.
No, if there's two in the other structure,
switch it out.
recommend
Yeah.
cutting one of those out and replacing it with something.
In which other structure?
If there's 2 in the 5 to 12 and none in the 2 to 5,
Yeah, it looks like
take 1
there's
and
a
1 at that point.
Right, I mean, yeah, I think.
steering wheel or 2 in the tractor.
Okay.
That's what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
It just
Well-
doesn't
And
list
so I
it.
think that's part of like, it's a custom.
Right, those are built in and not
But
the
2 is-
panel that we saw.
2 is good though,
Yeah,
believe it or not, because you got 2
Yeah.
kids up
2
there. Well, I
kids.
want to drive, I want to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
You don't have one taking it
both.
from the other
Yeah.
one,
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Which is right.
especially in that age range. I'm starting to get that, you know. They always want what the other one has.
Oh, yeah, there's like the steering wheels in the back, so, okay. Is there any other feedback you need from?
No, I said it earlier, I'd need a motion, but honestly, I think you guys have provided enough direction that.
I think, you know, it's quite spectacular. I think it's just really, really nice.
It looks like a massive upgrade over
Gear.
what's
Oh,
there right
Yeah.
now.
yeah, yeah.
Get her going.
Not that the playground that's there now isn't great,
No, it's got its,
and we love
value out
it,
of it.
and
It's-
Tracy's
it's
donated.
aged, dated.
It's just seen better days.
Ran its course.
We all have.
All right, well then,
Okay.
I'm good if you guys are good.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to new business. We have City Park now renaming.
Yes, so a topic of discussion that has been brought up is renaming City Park. I don't know about you guys, but I do not have a consistent, there's not a lot of consistency with what people call it. I've heard City Park, Community Park, Dinosaur Park, basically any name you can think of to describe that park, and a lot of times it's not City Park. So trying to hone in and make sure that we have a cohesive name for the park is important, especially as we're upgrading it. So the thought was, looking for thoughts on, with the playground featuring a farm design and the timing being right for a possible renaming, including brand cohesion as we're updating the signs that are going to be at the park, and those inconsistent references. The thought was Heritage Park as a naming option. It matches the guidance that you guys had given previously, maybe not you, Commissioner Walsh, you might not have been here, sorry, for park naming. It met all of the qualifications that were pre-discussed, so the avoiding individuals' names, reflecting the history and the setting, and then it's easy for community adoption. It's kind of, I'm looking for you guys to make a recommendation to council. They have heard the name Heritage Park. Mayor McKee actually brought it up to me last week while I was presenting about City Park. So running it by the commission, getting thoughts.
The first thing that popped in my mind was harvest.
Me too.
I like that. Harvest.
My thoughts on Heritage Park is I think there's one in Plymouth not too far.
There is, it's a small neighborhood park.
There is a Heritage and a Harvest Park, both in there.
Wow, we are original.
And,
Well, we had City Park for a long time.
That's a good point.
so I think when I think about it, it's a place that we're gonna have the Diamond Lake Trail go through. So it would be really good to have a name that are gonna kind of attract people or be very easy to reference. And I worry, like Heritage Park's a little, I don't know, specific. 'Cause I think the parks that we like to go to are there's like Teddy Bear Park in Duluth, which is like very clear. There's a bunch of teddy bears at Teddy Bear Park. And so my preference would be a name that kind of, people could say, oh, I'm gonna go to that park and I know right what we're talking about. Whether it's like farm themed or like, I was joking, oh, like Corn Cob Park, something like, just like on the nose that it's really easy to say. So I don't like dislike Heritage, but I don't think it like would be something I'd go through Diamond Lake Trail and remember that was, what park was that?
I think part of the other reason we were leaning toward Heritage was some of the stuff we might do, maybe in the structure itself, in the building, with maybe putting up some old plat maps and trying to tie it into the history of Corcoran. So that's, I think, where we initially came up with Heritage Park.
Yeah, none of those pieces.
Now you do.
Does, might be embarrassed to say it, does Corcoran have like a motto or a tagline or saying anything on our,
A hidden gem waiting to be discovered.
like a mission
Yeah.
statement or like
I mean, we
anything
do
we
have-
can pull a word from something that we've already put a lot of thought into regarding Corcoran? Just a thought to tie it.
Not so much from the tagline, I don't think, which isn't really incorporated on stuff anymore.
No, because it was, I don't think it was ever really adopted.
No.
I think it
Okay.
just kind of happened.
Okay.
Trying to think from the mission statement.
So we,
That stands out.
I have some thoughts. And something stirring around me, and maybe it's because I'm a city guy. It just raised some flags. I'm not sure we wanted to say what we wanted to say, and we certainly do have a history of agriculture. Our heritage is that, but when you just say heritage, which heritage are we talking about in this day and age? If you're one of the new South Asian families, and we say heritage, does that mean that I'm not welcome here? Your heritage is not, we haven't had South Asian families here before. Well, what does that mean that we're talking about then the heritage? Or the same with any of the other newer groups that come into town. We want them to feel welcome. And I don't think it does that just on its own. The other thing is that our heritage, our history of Corcoran is really sketchy. I mean, we've got about a page. The interview that you did with some of the old timers is really helpful, but that has not been developed here in Corcoran in any real way. I think it's a nice point that if you go back and look at the maps, City Park was a volunteer effort back in the 1970s, and that's pretty spectacular. But I bet we've now doubled the number of people in Corcoran who know that.
Volunteer park.
I
I will say, speaking kind of generally or a little more broad, when I first moved to Corcoran, trying to find some of the history of just the area it's not an easy task.
It's not an easy task.
And most of it's done by the church.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
food for thought, but, no, I agree. I think, like, Heritage Park on its own, sure, maybe it's a little boring.
It is boring. Yep.
The theme of the park on its own, totally fine, right? It makes sense. I think combining the two, you sort of insinuate that those are, tied together, for better or worse.
so you're saying heritage?
Personally, I think Heritage Park maybe is a little broad of a name,
It's pretty.
bland.
Did you have some ideas?
Well, I would be,
Well, listen.
I would be happier with to name our new structure, to call it Heritage Hall at City Park, or Heritage Hall at whatever the name of the park is. And then in there, we can have the pictures, we can have whatever parts of Corcoran history we want to show. That could even rotate. I don't know if although that calls for a new committee of Corcoranites to come up with those new things, but certainly to have that be part of where Corcoran's history is located, where it's a place where everybody goes, if you're there for an event or to vote or whatever, have some good displays on the wall to do that. Names for that park, I don't know. It does feel like Heritage. City Park is kind of a 1970s thing, because that's when we built it. Heritage Park is a 1980s thing. So
Is it something that would be worth opening it up for a suggestion more broadly?
Like a survey or,
Yeah.
I'd be a little hesitant about that, just my 2 cents, just knowing, when we have and when other entities have done online surveys, a lot of times you get Parky McPark face as a response.
inappropriate things. Sure. And then it makes it hard, and then it makes it harder to decide too, because you have so many options, but
Yeah.
there are a lot of creative people out
Can I throw another one out there?
there. Sure.
Pasture Park?
Pasture, yeah.
I
Putting the
like
kids
something
out
in
for
that
sure.
vein, pasture park or
And the
like,
reason I say that, so Heritage and Harvest have both, I've heard them, right?
Okay.
Pasture, you're maybe incorporating like, it's open fields, so you're addressing like the athletic side of it. It's still got that farm-esque theme, but if you guys are saying heritage isn't quite meeting what is the heritage, or if, to Commissioner Anderson's point, maybe it's Heritage Hall. I mean, either way, I mean, whatever you decide, that I have no true preference in what you decide to name this beautiful facility, but the time popped up that looking at naming it or renaming it, it's the appropriate time. What does that look like? What are people's thoughts? And Heritage was the one that kind of came out from the woodworks.
I do tend to agree with the Heritage, like Heritage Hall, if it had
The building.
the history there, sounds really cool, but the park itself, perhaps, Pickle Pasture Park, right, pickleball, pasture, your idea, my
By the
idea.
time we get pickleball,
Right.
over and
Pickle
done with.
Pasture Park, it rolls
Pickle
right
Park.
off the tongue.
I think we have a.
A real suggestion?
Farm and field or farm and fields, because you have the ball
Oh,
field.
yeah.
Because there's more to this park than just the playground.
Yeah.
There is, oh yeah.
Farm and field,
Farm and field.
Especially when it's all.
I like that.
Farm and fun.
Appreciate the suggestion.
So, this is posed to move forward on Monday.
The name?
Huh?
The
Yep.
name?
Like a recommendation from you guys.
Can't the name wait a little longer?
I can put that in the report that the commission would prefer to.
I gotta think about it.
And I can tell you council's response is gonna be, can it? I don't know.
The council response would be what?
Will be, can it wait? I don't know.
Oh,
I-
well, the signs aren't
Depends
getting
on
made
who
for
it
quite a
is.
while,
It
right?
depends on who you ask.
Okay.
I would say, I think we have some time if we would like to look at it.
Okay. put
But
that
it
in the
sounds
staff
like
report.
it was, I don't know, I don't know.
There's no part of this project that needs to have the
A name
name
on it,
fixed,
yeah.
does it?
I think part of
Except
the
for the
reason we were
signage.
looking at it was like, if we're doing the donations for the park, which we're trying to get up and running, we were
Okay.
looking at possibly doing stickers as like a, hey, thanks for donating, here's a sticker to show that you did. And so part of that was gonna be, I donated
have
to,
the new name. So-
Could that be a way of drawing in maybe a larger singular donation as potentially offering up the name of the park to?
I
Like
think we've
Domino
kinda
Park?
We gotta
got
wait
away
for-
from that policy wise.
I would be surprised if we had someone come in who wanted to pay enough.
Sure.
Candidly.
7 figures.
Yeah, I mean,
In the past, we brought up, and kind of thinking forward though, of other parks, like we thought of tying together, right? We have the wildflower, and then there's just it's not considered,
the memorial garden,
okay, yeah. It's still just the wildflower, so,
It's the only one
and then I think,
and it's on
I
wildflower.
think I recall you
Road.
bringing up,
Open space
last
park
time-
in Southeast Corcoran.
Yes.
yeah,
Needs a name.
Yep.
Is there a prairie park?
but like tying
wildflower.
the names together, yeah.
And so does the new park up with the boardwalk.
Yes, Bellwether, there's
Two
Bellwether
next-
neighborhood park and that needs a
Open space park.
official name and an open space park that needs a
Yeah,
name.
which one has the boardwalk?
The one in Bellwether.
Neighborhood.
So I guess, just thinking,
No,
is
that's
there an interest
Is it the
in
open space park?
tying the
Connect.
names together?
It connects from
They're
the
all
amenity center to the open space park, which then connects to the neighborhood park.
Okay, so kind of a.
Mm.
Know your geography, that's good.
Yeah, don't ask me what direction, north, south, though.
I like prairie.
Prairie park?
Other than.
Just
a-
like,
For
like
pasture
to your,
prairie.
like, yeah, something in.
Pasture and prairie.
Prairie pasture park.
Oh, you'll take that, not
Alliteration's always.
Pickleball court, yes.
pickle? Oh, that's,
I'm just picturing, like I said, I picture that person riding their bike up that Diamond Lake Trail, and I want to have a simple, memorable name that's like,
pickle.
that's the pickleball
That's
park.
that, wasn't it?
Pickle park.
No.
We're all gonna make, no, it's gonna be the Domino
Alright.
Park.
The
The
Diamond.
dominant, yeah, no, probably.
So,
So the creek that runs on the north side, that's not named, is it?
County ditch number
County ditch, yeah.
7.
That would be a natural
Yeah.
one.
Is that what you're looking at for that?
I don't know, I mean, that's the
County
other,
Ditch 7 Park?
that's the other feature of the park.
Creekside or something?
Well, yeah, that sounds like Maple Grove.
Sure.
Sounds
Yeah.
like Bloomington to me, they had a
Yeah,
Creekside
Bloomington.
community center, but. So recommendation from Parks and Trails is to,
give us a little.
Continue
Continue
brainstorming,
the
yeah.
discussion.
We'll come back with something. It'll come
We
in the middle
promise
of the
by
night.
July.
This is kind of fun. We can do
It'll
this.
be a middle of the night thing and just.
Yeah, I'd
boom.
say it's fair to say we don't think Heritage Park meets the,
Yeah, I like Heritage Hall for the building.
Yeah.
I really
That's
do,
good, I like
you
that.
know. But- Mhm.
okay. Not hurting my feelings, if that's why you guys,
Oh,
feel
wait.
like you guys keep looking at me like I'm gonna cry.
Maybe we can
No.
send you a whole bunch of names.
If you
and
have a
we
whole
can
bunch of
pick at
names.
them next. I
That's
mean,
part
it
of
could
the-
be weird, it could be whatever, and then we can no, and maybe come up with something.
That's
Yeah.
part of the
Internal
brainstorming.
survey.
You're not gonna hurt anyone's
Yeah.
feelings. We're gonna throw out ideas, and hopefully no one gets upset
Like
by
Pickle
that.
Prairie Park.
Yeah, but then maybe that makes
Then
them
we'll
think of
go,
something
"No."
else.
All right,
Cool.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I mean,
I had one other
you're
thought.
you're the vice chair, you
We'll
can
go-
just.
we'll keep going.
Running this
So we'll
meeting.
go on to, new business. We'll go to Garden Club request, 8B.
Yes. So if you haven't seen it yet, the Garden Club shed is up. It's beautiful. It's on the north side of the building. Check it out. They've got a wheelbarrow. They've got some other things in there. However, they would like to ask for a few more things because now they have somewhere to put these things. So they would like a garden trowel, a garden knife, an action hoe, a bypass pruner, a bypass lopper, a mulch fork, and 2 sturdy buckets. For a total cost of approximately $240.
And the mulch work,
Sturdy buckets, no janky buckets.
I'm sorry.
I'm asking for up to 300 to allow me some give and take to find things that will last for them, that will be quality.
Didn't we do a policy that lets them spend up to?
Yes, but it needs Parks and Trails approval.
Ah, gotcha.
Up to $5,000 before we have to go to council and get approval from them.
kind of surprised the mulch fork is that expensive.
Yeah.
If they
It
got a
was
really
a
fancy.
specific kind of mulch fork, like, the one I sent was not the
Oh.
one that they
Yeah,
wanted,
it's-
and I was like, okay, I don't know anything about mulch forks.
Do we have any comments or feedback?
I'll make a motion for 300 for your hand tools.
300?
Isn't that what you were hoping for?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I second that.
Need more than that?
Nope, I think that should be good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright,
All opposed? Approved.
So Susan Nelson is the one who's been taking over the garden club.
Nice.
And Susan is, she is a,
Phenomenal.
yes, she is. And she is extraordinarily knowledgeable on the natural life in this place. She writes blogs and columns and stuff on plant life, along with being a very nice person. And so Corcoran Garden Club is busier than they've been. They're actually doing some things.
They are
So
doing a lot of
so
things,
it's-
they're
so it's
planning a
great.
lot of trips and.
Yeah.
How's recruiting
Oh.
been?
We got a new person, yeah, so it's pretty slow, but,
is there an age limit?
No,
well, old enough, I mean.
On the low end,
On
I'd
the
say,
low
my,
end,
my daughter,
you know, if you can, would you come with supervision?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know,
15.
there's,
I thought you meant you.
she probably doesn't wanna pick thistles
No.
for long, you know, no, but if you
Yeah.
have her come bring your kid to garden club, yeah.
Hmm.
And if we're working out there, go visit, just figure she'll get bored before the rest of us do. you know, we'd be ready to leave early, which
What's
is
your
fine.
patience?
I'll email you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Commissioner Park.
I did have
No, that, no.
Yeah.
I did have this too. This, if you're curious, is the mulch fork
Mulch
in
fork,
question.
Sure.
So 124, not a full 130, I rounded.
Tax.
I
Well,
can
we
vouch
have
for the
extras.
Menards bucket. I do have that bucket.
Yeah.
It's a good bucket.
Yeah, quality.
Is it
It's a
the
solid bucket.
solid bucket?
Yeah.
Is it not quite as good as the Home Depot bucket, but much cheaper?
Lower profile.
Yeah.
You get
A little shorter.
Get 11% back.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that go back to the garden club? The 11%?
My snacks.
Or does that go into the park dedication?
You know, really, it should go, I don't know, that's a very good question.
Start seeing rebates in our dedication.
Exactly.
line items.
They're only good for
The
so
accounting
long.
people will love that one.
Okay, so we have, that closes out new business. We move on to 9, reports and information. We have planning project update for information.
Per usual, if you have questions about that, I am going to pass the buck on that to the council member that is here.
If you have any questions, I didn't come with anything really prepared because I kind of came on a whim, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
My only question was on the one that is just south of the city park. I think that's 13.
The old Corcoran Farms Business Park, it
Oh,
got
what about
brought
it?
in as something else.
That's one that has our regional trail going through it. So
Yes.
I saw what they had proposed at the city council meeting, and my feedback would be, they're leaving a little sliver of trail for our regional trail. I think the vision for that with Three Rivers was like, we want 50-foot wide swaths through as this trail, we want a lot of space dedicated for it. So I don't know, it's just something to consider with that development. I think that it's a really good opportunity to connect that city park to south, which is where the whole trail goes. So I think that is, if it comes to development, a pretty important piece for our Diamond Lake project.
Yeah, I agree. It's a really big connecting piece that gets a lot more access to the park and helps. We'll have some of the northern section of that built sooner than later and get close to north to south in Corcoran on the Diamond Lake in the foreseeable future. With that, I think the issue there probably is if it's something like what was proposed at that concept plan we saw last week, that was just barely meeting, I think it was at 2.99 density instead of 3, 3.5 pretty soon for minimum density. And that's if we were to approve, and then that council were to approve a comp plan change from the industrial that site was approved as an industrial site before. So I don't know if there's a ton of room to find on either configuration on that, but I get what you're saying and would love that. But definitely something to try to keep in mind if there's a way to either shift the route a little bit or get creative with some open space.
And I don't know how it works if like Diamond or Three Rivers reimburse, like how that process works for that type of,
It's a reimbursement.
okay.
Is that, I apologize, was that the Larkin Road one on here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, I'm just verifying it was in the right spot.
So I don't know if you could, we don't have to, but they had like a little trail going around the whole east side, just of like, what looked like just neighborhood-sized trail for our, what would be Diamond Lake.
It's a minimum 10-foot wide trail for the Diamond Lake Trail, right?
Yes.
For the trail, yeah.
As opposed to city trail of 8 feet.
But then they want like a 50-foot, like I said, they want like a 50-foot, as you're developing this, a big corridor, which wouldn't be what we're doing.
They did note though that they understand there are pieces that they're not gonna be able to do that with. I do think they get some benefit from the park too, right after that.
Yeah, and I was gonna say it did,
Yeah.
and
It's true.
they are doing a search corridor for east-west pretty soon. And I've been advocating for a while that just on their kind of fat line that they've done, and we're looking in this area for an east-west trail, it almost intersects at the park. I've been advocating for a while that if they shifted that down, they could actually intersect 2 regional trails at the park. And that would be a pretty big open amenity for except for the lack of space in some of the segments to the south.
Yeah, I get the restriction, just wanna voice the,
Yeah.
I think we'll have few opportunities to like, make that trail a full
Yep.
regional trail.
Yep, absolutely. And I anticipate we'll see probably another concept plan from that site before we see anything in terms of going forward with the official steps for the preliminary rezoning, comp plan change. And that site has about as many hoops to jump through as possible. Just
That doesn't
give them
help
the
much.
changes that they want, so. It'll be back in front of council at least and planning commission a few times. And possibly, and you guys for at least one.
I just have more of a commissioner training type question. So this is active planning projects. What justifies it no longer active? Like when does it fall off of this update? As it, same more for developments. So like, when do they no
Yeah.
longer become active, I guess?
I don't know that we've had like a strict, you're talking about like in the back here?
So, yeah, just like, well, like, there's like Woodland Hills is one that's currently under development. But they would probably no longer be giving updates here of that development because it's already gone through the planning process, right? So it's like when it's
Yeah.
approved, then maybe it fully approved, does it fall off of here?
Honestly, Dwight's the one that puts
Okay.
this together, and it's more informational than anything else.
Yeah,
A lot of the times, the things that are on here don't actually pertain to Parks and Trails either.
okay. Yeah.
So I can ask him. I would assume that once it's approved or denied, that's when it would get removed.
Denial for sure, I think. Or
But
maybe-
even
maybe it'd be
approval,
on
like
for one
Woodland
meeting.
Hills isn't on here.
Well, sometimes there's, you know, like take Ravinia for example, and it took years, we just finally got the final phases in the last couple of years, and they're still not finished closing out many phases, so there's still sometimes updates in that regard, and work on trails and work on miscellaneous things that's still going on in the 10-year-old development that you wouldn't anticipate. So sometimes things like that might stay on. But we could certainly talk to Dwight and staff and see if there's some tweaks that would make it easier to.
I guess I was just more curious of those developments that are currently underway, like Tavera or Woodland Hills, like, is there anywhere to get updates on those developments if things change in those? So that's kind of all I was thinking of, but, so, thanks.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. On to Parks, Recreation, and Trails update, 9B.
Hey, hi, hello, me again. So May 22nd, I was actually not in attendance. Natalie did this presentation because it was more related to the planning side of things. But City Council approved the site plan and the variance for the City Park remaster. If you recall the variance, I don't know if you guys even heard about that. Basically, the building is right smack dab on the line of the two parcels. And so the variance is normally you need a setback from the boundary. Well, we own both pieces of property, so that, and then I think there was some vegetation requirements that were not omitted, but like flexed a little bit so that the Diamond Lake Regional Trail could still have the meander and being mindful of the neighbors and vegetation that is necessary. Other than that, City Park bid results, they went to council last week on Thursday. We requested feedback on the bids that were received to provide a better understanding of what alternates the council was really looking for in there. Bid results came back really good. I would say really good. They came back under budget, or under the estimated amount with alternates. During the meeting last week, council was pushing to move forward with everything except for pedestrian lighting. So it was the pinwheel paths, the Diamond Lake Regional Trail, the boardwalk within the regional trail, the
parking lot you talked
Full
me
parking.
into.
full parking lot pave. And then there was.
Irrigation.
Irrigation, thank you. Oh, you got it right there. Very convenient. Additionally, the building bids came back favorable as well. 2.2 was the number instead of 2.8, which was what our estimate was, and that included both alternates. So the alternates for that was the eastern side of the building, the overhang, and then the partition to separate the two rooms. So things are looking
good.
up. We are getting there. So next week, well, Monday of next week, I am going to be returning to council to request approval of the bids and acceptance and moving forward with the project.
So, the council says yes on Monday. When does digging and grading start over there?
Mid-July.
Mid-July?
We've talked to the contractors just to see like what, if this goes through, like what timeline are you looking at?
Right.
And they want to go.
Rock and roll with it. Cool.
So do we.
Before I put it back on the screen. Otherwise, garden club, park planning, special events, Diamond Lake Regional Trail, City Park, those have been my focuses. Same as normal. What's new?
Good, good. What is new?
And that's what we lead into. See how I did that? Can we go into the program coordinator one?
Sure. That closes out 9B. We go to 9C, program coordinator update.
Hey everybody, I'm Parker Tabor. I'm the new program coordinator here at the city of Corcoran. I'm a senior at the University of Wisconsin La Crosse. I've lived in the community ever since I was born. I live right on the other side of the city park, Corcoran Trail, so known this place for a while. So some things I've been working on. As you guys probably know, some games have been rained out for basically every league that we run in baseball. So trying to reschedule those games. This week, I collected some equipment from the coaches for season end. The last equipment collection will be on Thursday from Machine Pitch. And then coordinated a little bit with Jamboree and area teams, so Hanover and Rockford were most of the teams, I think, in the Jamboree, and then kind of oversaw some season wrap-up stuff. And then on to Night to Unite. Josh, our CSO here, and I have been going out requesting donations. We pretty much just finished that today. I have to call one place and then we're pretty much done with the in-person stuff for that. In addition to that, I created the new Night to Unite bingo card, as you see on the slide here. And so that will be at our Night to Unite for all the kids to enjoy and kind of
And
fill
adults.
out.
You guys can
Yeah,
play.
true. And
Bring your own
adults.
dauber, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then I also created a neighborhood party invitation template and a block party tips and tricks document that we posted to the Corcoran webpage. So people who need to access that can. And then worked with the planning team to finalize plans for the event. And then other stuff I've been working on is finalized articles highlighting recreational programming and park rentals that are going to be included in the summer newsletter. And then create a potential map for Bark on the Park here at City Hall. So that kind of includes like a rest station, a water station, a photo opportunity out by the garden there, and then kind of like a tennis ball event where they kind of play fetch and different stuff like that. And then I also brainstorm potential ideas for future event park programming after the park renovation is done, and updated flyers on the bulletin board at the park.
Good job.
Nice.
So tell me about the Jamboree is new to me. No, you've done
Oh.
it for years?
I mean, yeah, we've done it for a few years. It used to be more of an end of the season tournament.
Okay.
Then we turned it into more of a round robin, just free play,
More
jamboree.
fun,
and-
less stress.
You know how we do.
That's us.
That works for me. So what are you studying in school?
Communications with the minor in leadership development.
Minor
Leadership development.
leadership development.
Very good.
Very nice.
Well, welcome home.
welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to have you here. Yeah. So does that mean you have every resident of Corcoran is your boss, of course. But then there's also Jessica, is Seth also your boss? No.
It's just you.
Oh, boy.
Okay, that's enough.
Seth is
That's what I
currently
was
on
gonna say.
vacation, which is why he's not here tonight.
Yeah.
He will be back.
Okay, good.
Parker didn't replace Seth, don't worry
Okay.
guys. We still get both of them.
All right, so then we have our subcommittee miscellaneous reports. 10A Garden Club report.
There are some activities being planned, going off-site and some stuff, and we're battling, I've not been very active, but I know they're battling thistles in the garden, so.
Would you like me to give an update? I got an email today.
Oh, good.
They are doing a Kelly and Kelly nursery visit on the 22nd, if anyone is interested. They are doing the 2025 Hennepin County Master Gardener Learning Garden Tour, Saturday, July 12th. August 15th or 16th, so Country Days weekend. Natural Shore Technologies Nursery in Independence. They're going to be going out there and looking at what they got. Then they're also looking at exploring Gertons in Inver Grove Heights and Tangletown Gardens in Minneapolis. So if anyone is interested in either joining the garden club or learning more about these events, please feel free to reach out to me and I will connect you with Susan.
Thank you. Anything else? Garden Club?
No.
Okay. And then we have the 10B Park Dedication Fund update.
Commissioner Nybo, I'm sorry. I know it's not in here.
I was gonna say, was it in there? That's okay.
I included the numbers, so we're looking at how our finance side of things is set up and if we're doing it in the best way to reflect the information that we're trying to reflect. So our finance team is working through that. Needless to say, they didn't want me finagling the Excel spreadsheet anymore.
That's
So we're looking at how to have it reflect the information that we're trying to reflect without having me finagle the report every single month. And we're looking at a new process. So here is the amount that's available in the Park Dedication Fund and the Memorial Garden Fund. And if you have any questions about transactions, I'm happy to share them with you. The main outgoing transactions have been to City Park because we're using the funds for paying the consultants. Other than that, we've gotten a few Park Dedication funds from developments. So
That's
we're
more
holding
fun than-
pretty steady and we're at 5.7. We shouldn't have to use it all for this park project due to the external funding that we have, so.
And I think we're still, I know Jay mentioned it a while ago about a potential update to the calculation for park dedication, but we haven't discussed it.
Yes.
I think that's still in the works, that I think Jay's working on with his experience.
I think Natalie is, but yeah.
Natalie too.
like the amount it is.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep, 'cause
Might be.
Natalie and I were working on that a few months ago before we brought it to you guys.
Cool.
Other questions?
Okay. Sounds good. So then we have other business announcements? The one thing I didn't bring up before, I was at a topic. I've been thinking about the park and I was wondering if we can say no, but I thought it was, to me, it might be meaningful to have like a small dinosaur somewhere hidden in that park. As part of the heritage, as far as like the donation process, so I just thought that would be something we want to consider as part of our design.
Where?
Just like,
Kind of an Easter egg, just
Yeah.
anywhere.
So it doesn't have to be like in the playground container, it can be
No.
like
yep, yeah. I was thinking part of the playground somehow,
the
but
Domino's mural.
There you go.
the dinosaur, giant
I don't think that's what he was
That's
thinking.
not exactly what I meant, but.
No, you're
That
not
is-
though. You take the old playground
Yeah.
and you,
Slap it up on the engineer.
yeah, and then you get your dinosaur. It's pulling into that heritage. I don't know that we've had any submissions for it.
You've been in contact with the family,
Yes.
though, that,
Yes.
okay, and how is, remind me how that's gone.
Good.
Good.
They're very interested in still pursuing the donation. They did start their own website a little while back, so they do have some funds already available.
Okay.
They were also looking at doing like a personal donation from their own funds. And I've been meeting with them. That's kind of where the netting topic came into play.
Are their hearts still set on the dinosaur?
No.
part?
No.
We
Oh,
met with them.
but that's why I thought it might be meaningful to have like
Mhm.
a small.
Oh,
I thought so
ours.
first too. I mean, I don't think they'd be opposed to it, but they
No.
made it clear that they don't
That's not,
need it.
okay.
It doesn't have to be the dinosaur. We cleared the farm theme with them, and
Okay.
if they would still be interested, and they were like, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Question?
I do like the idea of a dinosaur, though, if you can tell me where you want to put it. Unless it's supposed to be a secret so that people can find it. Is that why you don't want to say it? Huh?
Hidden dinosaur.
Yeah, it could be just a little hidden
Hidden
thing.
Dinosaur Park?
That's the
Nice.
theme, is there's a, it's
That
all,
would be very
it's all
confusing.
It's all
far, but
agricultural.
there is a hidden dinosaur.
Hidden Dinosaur.
Does that pond have a name?
No.
Ditch pond?
Yeah.
Creek overflow pond.
I do think the creek has a name, though, to be honest. I think it's part of like Rush Creek, isn't it? Or,
That might be.
Is
Probably
that
is.
technically, it's one of the
Probably.
forks of Rush Creek?
Yeah, probably is an unnamed tributary of Rush Creek. right?
What's gonna drive me nuts?
Okay.
What's the name of the lake on the west?
Lake Jubert?
Yeah, Jubert.
The only lake we have.
No,
Zero
we have
public
A
access.
little bit of
A
Cook
little
Lake,
bit of Cook Lake, yeah.
but that's why we're like the third biggest city by land area in the state of Minnesota.
Because we don't have any
We don't have
water.
any lakes.
The
That's
one,
serious.
the one city.
That's
Cattail
what it is.
Park.
You look at like half their
That's not
map
bad
is
either.
not
I think-
down in the lake, yeah.
Too many fish in Jupiter.
Any other business announcements people want to? Okay, then I'll look for a motion to close the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you.